Hello there, RC Girl here. Today I'm here to talk to you about retrofitting an old RC car. Here's the XXX-T truck that I'm going to be retrofitting with some new components. Here's some of the things I'm going to be putting into it. And I'll include links to all these. So right now it's just kind of a rolling chassis, and we're going to need to give it some guts to get it running. So for our first component is the ESC, and right now it has the DIN connectors, but all my batteries are currently running with the XT60s. So we're gonna have to solder a matching connector there. And then we have a brushless motor. It's 3650 size and a 3100 kV, matching to the ESC, which is rated up to 3 cell, but I'm gonna be running 2 cell batteries. Next is our servo. It's all metal gears, high torque. I think when I first had this, it was plastic, so that's kind of burned out the gears a bunch, I'm sure. So this will be a nice upgrade. All these components are not super high-end, but they can be found on Amazon. Let's get started. First, we're gonna put in the new servo. So at first it came with one of the round control arms, I think, so you're going to want the one that's kind of directional. I'm going to wait to screw these in until we get the car running and align the servo arm. So now we're going to move on to the ESC and the motor. To goop the switch to the side, so I'm just going to let that dry. I took a receiver out of a different car. I put some sticky tape on the bottom. Just going to install this here. I also attached some Gorilla tape here to make sure the antenna stays down. You want to also make sure that there's no bend in it or putting tension on it. So put a little straw in there and just going to hold it right in place. So now we're ready to install the ESC, and I put some sticky tape on the bottom. Delicate procedure. It's like surgery. And the motor's pretty simple to install. You have 2 screws here. You're going to line them up with the slots there, and then tighten it in. We can connect our cables now. And it doesn't really matter what order you put these in. If the motor runs backwards, just swap 2 of them if you don't have the color matching. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is select the right pinion gear. And I have a couple different sizes here, but since this is the first time I'm running it in a while with a new motor, a new setup, I'm going to select the smallest one I have. I believe it's a 15 tooth. And it's going to give you some more torque, but less power. I've found that in the past I've overpowered some of the cars and burned out the motors and the gears. So we'll start off small, and then if we need to go a little bit bigger, I have a couple options there. Align it. This gear with the middle of this one, lock it down, and then I didn't tighten these screws on the motor all the way, and you can push it in to align these gears together. And you don't want them to be too grinding on each other, but enough movement where you see a little play in it, but not pushed all the way in where they're going to grind against each other, because there's a lot of movement on these parts. There's a groove on one side of the motor shaft, and that's where you're going to want to put the screw. Next, I'm going to connect the ESC to the receiver, and I mean, you could plug it in like that, but I like to keep things out of the way, so what I did is got an extension. You can just plug that in. It gives you some more space to play with, some more length, and we can route this behind the servo. Oh, and power it up. So I'm assuming channel 2 is the servo, channel 1 is the ESC, but we'll find out. And then always remember to turn on your radio before you power up the car, because sometimes it starts up in full throttle. Don't want to have that happen. Okay. She's alive! So it's definitely switched because the turning is powering the motor. So we'll turn that off and reconnect those. All right, let's try that again. Awesome. And now that it's been powered up, I want to make sure to adjust the servo steering arm. So since it's been powered up, it's centered itself. I also want to make sure that the steering trim is set to 0, so you know that you're basically in the center. And what you're going to want to do is adjust your servo arm with the length of this little doohickey here. And that attaches your servo to the front steering of the car. Yeah, I had to set the maximum steering trim a little bit less because this hits the side, so make sure you're not going to strip out the gears. We got the battery in. And I'm going to organize these cables here with the little, I don't know, you can find these at Home Depot or a craft store. It's basically run a zip tie through it and you can organize the cables through it. And I'm going to put the rear tires on and give it a first run. Sweet. Alright, now we have the new tires mounted. Everything's looking really good. Now we're going to give it a run.